when I dance. On that demon time, she might start her OnlyFans. Big B and that B stand for bands. If you wanna see some real ass, baby, here's your chance. I say left cheek, right cheek, drop it low this swing. Texas up in this thing, put you up on this game. I be parking my frame, gang, 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 gang. If you don't jump to put jeans on, baby, you won't feel my pain.
Hello guys and girls, I have the flu right now, but I'm filming this video because I want to get back onto track with things on my YouTube, and I mean it this time. I know I've said that many times, but I do mean it. I've had so many ideas that I don't know what to post first, and that's what's been stopping me, but you know, I'm so worried about getting the perfect video and making sure it's perfect, you know. It doesn't have to be, it just has to be a video. My birthday was in November. Hoping that you can see me. I'm currently using a Tiger Balm little pot to prop up the camera a little bit. But you can't see my forehead. Okay, great. So anyway, so I wanted to do this video titled 26 Things I've Learned in 26 Years. The happiest people. I actually meant to say the saddest people are the people that laugh, right? And that always go the extra mile for people. I've noticed those people, when I speak to them about their lives, whether they're 46 or 26, when I speak to these people about their lives or they open up to me, I realise how much crap they've gone through, and the reason they're like that is because they don't want anyone to have to suffer anywhere near as much, or not even at all, how they have. Because they know what true suffering is and how it feels to be so low, and they don't want other people to feel that way. People usually take these people as being kind of maybe overbearing when they're trying to show their care, but I think it's because it's coming from a place of, oh, well, I didn't have anyone doing this for me, so I'm doing it for you. I can see a very creepy reflection in my camera. I think it's just my brain making things up. So number 2, most people genuinely don't give a shit about your problems. Even if they are a friend, right? It takes a special someone to truly listen to your problems and care about them. Most employers do not value you. You're just their slave. Number 4, everyone is scarily disconnected now. Like, we're all staring at each other, but no one wants to approach anybody. It's like, because of social media, everybody is 10 times more insecure. Number 5, when you talk, after the first sentence of whatever you've said, most people are usually bored, right? Most people want to talk, but they don't want to listen. And most people only listen to you to reply, but not to understand. Number 6, everyone is so lost in their head or in their own world to notice the people around them, to notice that things may have changed about the world. I'm shocked that I share a planet with the kinds of people who don't even notice things like what people are wearing, or say if someone's got a new pair of earrings, or if they've cut their hair. I live in a world where people don't notice things like that. That is bizarre to me. I feel disprivileged to have to share a planet with people who are that unobservant, and it disgusts me. Number 7, TikTok will always be my baby, but it's incredibly destructive. And it's incredibly toxic. Okay, not destructive, it's toxic. There's so much toxicity on TikTok within the witch community, within the political space, just, you know, between all the different TikTokers. There's just so much just nastiness going on. Number 8 is my generation. Now, I'm on the cusp of being a millennial and a Gen Z, because I think if you're a millennial, it's from the 1980s until the mid-90s. And then from the mid-90s until like 2000 and something, that makes you a Gen Z. Now, I think it's like the youngest you can be, being a millennial, is 1995. And the oldest you can be, being a Gen Z, is 1997. So 1996 isn't included in any of those, and that's my year of birth, 1996. My generation that had kids as a teenager, most of them are doing much better jobs raising their kids than their parents did, and so on and so on. Number 9, no matter how busy someone is, they will always make time for you if they truly care about you. They will speak with their actions instead of making excuses. Most people would rather complain about their problems than actually find viable solutions Thus, most people prefer being in a negative headspace, purely or partially based on the fact that it's comfortable for them. It's almost as if there's a global avoidant personality disorder going on, where we're all just trying to run away from our problems and escape rather than facing them head on. Even if it's difficult, even if it's complicated, even if you don't know where to start, starting is part of the solution. And that's the part that people struggle with, the beginning. Number 11. A lot of people would rather stare at you and think about what they want with you, rather than actually opening their mouths and saying something, or actually just giving you a chance. That applies to me. Number 12. People can make a decision, right, on whether or not they want to date you, whether or not they want to meet up with you as a friend, whether or not they want to fuck you, whatever, based on words on a screen that can be misinterpreted because you cannot hear the person's tone of voice and you can't really get a feel for what the person is like through text. And there are some people that get so caught up in just speaking to somebody online for 6 months, for a year, for 2 years, for 5 years. Most of them will never even meet you if they're speaking to you for that long, but ultimately I think the dating site should just be like a gateway, like it's just like an introduction to the person. If you want to get the full experience of the person, you should then be planning, if you like them, before doubts start planting in your mind, you should try and arrange a meetup. I'd say within maybe a week of speaking to somebody. What's the point of going, oh, so what are you into? Oh, so what do you like? You're going to have nothing to talk about when you see them. I'm 26. Most 26-year-olds can't realise, they don't seem to realise this. I know because I've tried just about every dating site out there and it doesn't work, and I'm not on dating sites, and I've vowed to pretty much never use the ones I've used in the past ever again. Only 2 sites I've never used is Bumble and Badoo, and I don't want to use them either. Right, number 13. People say men are trash. Okay, right? Some, emphasis on the word some, but women are just as trashy as men, and this is the part people miss. This is what no one wants to talk about. Women are just as trashy as men. There are men, people be like, oh, men will use you, men will do this, men will go off and do that. Women use too. My experience, I've been used for sex, I've been used for company, I've been used for just for having someone there. I've been used as a matter of convenience rather than for my personality, for who I am, which is something I've never been complimented on. I'm not sure why, because I try to be the best version of myself every day, and we still have wife beaters and financial abusers and catty, bitchy women and horrible arsehole men and just nasty people all around the world not trying to improve. Every day just getting worse, and I'm trying to get better. But anyway, I guess we all make mistakes. Some are inexcusable, but let's move on. But yeah, my point is women are just as trashy as men, and that's a conversation not many people are ready for. Number 14. Cancel culture, and Trey Melvin did a video on this. If you want to go and watch this video, please do. Cancel culture is just a way to globally boycott an artist and keep another singer, actor, celebrity popular, whilst the other one is drained of their finances because they're no longer in, they're no longer trendy, so everyone has to hate them and all this bollocks. Number 15. Right. Oh, let me add to number 14. You're being manipulated into what to think in these situations. Because with cancel culture, all it takes, for example, James Charles was accused of doing some paedophilia shit. Number 15. As most of the population is extroverted, which is why extroverted jobs are more popular than introverted jobs. Let me give you an example. Sales, customer service, any kind of job where you have to speak to the public. Most intimidating thing to me is having to work in a shop. Like I did a trial shift in Next in Romford. I think it was 2017 I did this trial shift, I think it was. My biggest fear is what I had to do at Next in Romford when I did a trial shift there many years ago. A stranger comes into the store and you have to go up to them and approach them and ask them what they're looking for. I don't want to talk to strangers. I don't want to go. I don't care if I'm being paid at that time I think they were offering £9 an hour. I'm not going to go up to a fucking stranger and start asking them, what you're looking for. I don't want to do that. I want them to fuck off and buy something and get the fuck out of the store. Well, I don't want to go, oh hi, what are you looking for? Are you looking for something? I don't give a fuck. I want money in my account at the end of the day. I don't want to fake interest with strangers. Unless it's my own business. I'm not interested in faking excitement, faking an interest in how someone's day is, just to make them feel welcome in some store that I don't even like that much. Really? Most people are very bad listeners because they don't listen to understand, they listen to respond. And extroverts are so quick to call an introvert antisocial because we feel extremely uncomfortable in social settings. Sometimes, if we are an introvert with social anxiety, that is, a situation where we're expected to initiate social contact with strangers, this would apply, you know, the guilt tripping, the, oh, you're antisocial, you don't want to speak to anybody. Okay, what's wrong with that? Is that such a crime, you know? But you see, extroverts, we are comfortable, we are introspective, we are comfortable in our own minds. We have gotten to know ourselves, and we can live with ourselves. To me, there's nothing weaker than always needing to be around people because you can't stand being alone. You may have outer strength, but where's your inner strength? I'll leave you extroverts with that. Most people's favourite way of staring at others, I've noticed now, because I get the train 5 days a week and I have to be around other people. I wish I had a job where I could just sit at home and just type away my laptop and get paid like 500. I wish I could just be a freelance writer, just captionist, transcriptionist, bloody, I don't know, audio captioner, like just description writer or something. Oh God, I just wish I could just write for a living and just get paid well for it regularly. Most people's way of staring at others, I've noticed, is to pretend they're looking around the room. So what most people do is they go. Did you notice how I looked at the camera then? And some women do this thing where they're sitting next to me on the train and you have seats here and you have seats here. So they pretend they have an itch in their hair, but really they're looking at me. I've clocked onto that as well. Or they start playing with their hair and looking over here at me. Hate it! Hate it. I don't want to be stared at. Don't stare at me, I'm not interested. Thank you. Unless you want to fuck me, put your eyes somewhere else. Number 17. Whilst self-love and self-confidence is being promoted, a lot of women especially, sadly, still have extremely low self-esteem, and it shows majorly. Number 18. When you're talking, most people don't care what you're saying. A lot of people just talk to pass the time because they're bored or to be polite, not because they actually want to talk with you. Say you work in a restaurant and you go to another restaurant, like for the same company or something, and say there's like you and a few other people there, and like say you haven't spoken to someone, they'll just talk to you just to be polite. But like say if you try and carry on the conversation, they might not be feeling it. I've noticed that. Number 19. Everyone will have thought about killing themselves at least once in their lives, or about engaging in a reckless habit to deal with their problems. At least everybody would have thought, oh, it would be so much easier if I could just, you know, if I did this drug, did that drug, if I did this drink, if I just died, if I just killed, yeah, lots of people. Please, suicide is not the answer. Go to my TikTok and watch my pinned post. Number 20. Parents will say their child is being difficult, but often in reality, the parent doesn't have control in the situation. Or the child's reaction is warranted, but the parent doesn't like the fact that they're not in the right. So they'll try and manipulate the child into thinking they've done something, or make the child feel bad. That's something I've noticed, you know. Gen X and boomers, they hate when a millennial or a Gen Z challenges them and is right. They can't stand that. They can't stand it. It just they feel undermined. So what they have to do is they will immediately tell you you have an attitude. Even if you're right and they're wrong, they will immediately tell you you have an attitude. Teachers, parents, that's their way of dealing with the fact that you are smarter than them in that moment and that you are right and they're wrong. And the only thing they have against you is, I'm your teacher, I'm your parent, I'm older than you. That's it. Something I've noticed. Number 21. Women cheat, lie, and can live recklessly and aimlessly just as much as men. In fact, the cheating statistics are pretty similar for men and women. Men and women cheat for different reasons, yeah. I don't know why men cheat, I don't know. There's many different reasons. Their partners gained weight. They have more opportunities because they're rich and there's more chances to, you know, the chance is there. And I think that's the number one reason a man cheats. If he has a lot of money and he has all these beautiful women around him all the time and he attracts loads of eyes to him. You know, men, they like to look at women whilst they're at work and think about what it would be like to have her at home, rather than appreciating the woman they have at home only. That's how some of their brains work. I'm glad I'm never going to be dating a man. I'm glad I'm a lesbian, but yeah, anyway. I'll say I'm glad I'm a lesbian, but women is fucking difficult as fuck. So number 22. Men secretly, or openly, depends on the man, harbour a lot of hate towards women because of how bitter and horrible we can be towards them sometimes. Now, there's actually a lesbian journalist. I'm not sure what her name is. I'm going to Google it right now and find out. Nora Vincent is her name. Her name is Nora Vincent. She pretended to be a man and then committed suicide years afterwards when she realised how difficult it was to be a man. She was a 53-year-old journalist, female, cis female, born female, right? Biological female, transitioned into a man because she wanted to know what it feels like to live as a man. She realised how horrible women were to her, or when people thought she was a man, she was treated completely differently, and committed suicide because it was so hard. She even said she started to grow disdain and hate towards women. Now, if this is her pretending to be a man to see what it's like, imagine what actual men think. Imagine what actual men experience. Imagine what actual men go through. One thing people don't talk about, and I think it should be spoken about more. So number 23, right? Creeps, pedos, predators, and red flag type men are not the majority, we know that, but it's perceived as enough to be considered all men. Because on TikTok, in the comments, people say, oh yeah, all men do this, all men. We know that it's not all men. But the thing is, for some women, that they've experienced so much cruelty from so many different guys, and the fact that it's like so many other women have experienced it, it gives this false belief of, oh, every man must be like that. And it's not every man, but it's enough men that are doing those abusive behaviours in a relationship with the woman to be perceived as all. And that's the problem. That's why so many women are immediately hostile towards you, because how are they supposed to tell the difference between guy and a bad guy from the get-go? How are you supposed to tell? A lot of people that are nice and charming, being charming is a sign of being a sociopath. How are people supposed to tell? Because, you could be deceiving them throughout the whole relationship. You could not be. They don't know that. It's about having blind faith, which is something I pity in people. Okay, so number 24. The government wants to turn a religion that is about becoming your own God, about creating a life for yourself that's worth living, a life that includes self-discipline, a life where you work in harmony with ancient gods and goddesses, right? They want to take that religion, that way of living, and turn it into a religion of murder and hate, and associate evil with that, and call it bad and taboo, in an attempt to fearmonger and control the public. Because this religion I'm talking about right now is any religion that is associated with witchcraft. Paganism, neo-paganism, Wiccanism, Satanism, Luciferianism. Ancient gods and goddesses, I'm talking pantheons of Greek gods and goddesses, of Egyptian gods and goddesses, of Aztec gods and goddesses, of Japanese, Chinese gods and goddesses, of elemental spirits, of fallen angels that now work alongside Lucifer. You're taking beings that were once, that were gods that have been in existence since Mesopotamian times, and you're going to brand that as evil because of some stupid scripture that has been lost in translation. And this, right, if we talk about Christianity, Christianity is fairly new, because when Christianity came around, paganism was already there, right? So not only did Christianity take Christmas, what used to be called Yule, which is Yule in the pagan religion, Ostara, which they called Easter. What else did they take? Samhain. Well, Christians don't celebrate Halloween, not all of them anyway, but Samhain, paganism, which is Halloween to everybody else, All Hallows Eve, whatever you want to call it.
Hello, Christmas is a lie. It was stolen from pagans, starting with Santa Claus, who was a Norse god named Odin. Odin was a hot older guy with a long white beard who rode through the sky on an 8-legged horse giving presents to people. And the 12 days of Christmas comes from winter solstice, which is a pagan 12-day winter holiday. It marked the end of the year's harvest, so people would get super drunk and eat a lot and exchange gifts. Kissing underneath the mistletoe. This plant was highly sacred in pagan ritual. For Romans, it honored the god Saturn. To keep Saturn happy, they would perform fertility rituals underneath the mistletoe. The Yule star in which each point represents one of the 5 elements was placed on top of trees. Now everybody puts stars on their Christmas trees, but somehow the original star became satanic. How is this logical? Also hanging ornaments on trees. Each ornament represented a god or a saint. Decking the halls. Pagans wanted greenery inside their homes because winter outside was cold and ugly. Christmas caroling, pagan. Eggnog, pagan. Yule log, clearly pagan. Even December 25th is a ripoff. It used to be celebrated as Dies Natalis Solis Invicti, or the birth of the invincible sun. It was dedicated to the gods Mitra, or the Roman soul, but then Pope Julius I came along and he was like, nah, I'm gonna make it into Jesus's fake birthday. So the birth of the invincible sun and the birth of the invincible sun are the same thing. So well played, Julius, you conniving little shit.
And Christianity took all the gods and goddesses that were much more ancient than Christianity and labelled it as, oh, the devil, evil, bad, oh, the tarot cards, yeah, that's bad, oh, yeah, this is bad, that's bad. It's such a religion of hypocrisy, just fear-mongering. It's like, oh, you have to do everything this person in the sky that you're never going to see says, and you have to live in fear for the rest of your life. That's why they use that tool against us. So number 25, escapism. It's a very dangerous form of avoidance, but all of us are addicted to it in some form or another. Be it through virtual reality, playing video games, watching loads of movies, getting lost in a book, going to the cinema. These are all forms of escapism that most of us could never live without. I had a friend that used to want to do nothing but go to the cinema. Her brain just operated on 5 different things. Wake up, sit in front of the TV, go to the cinema, go to the pub, go to a restaurant, go to a nightclub. That was the only ideas in her head out of all the things to do in the whole world. That was her idea of, and she was obsessed with the cinema. That's a form of escapism. You know, a lot of people, they need to hold on to that escapism because it keeps us sane. Some of us, it's one problem I think all of humanity has, but nobody is ever going to be able to not escape, not want to escape anyway. Right, so number 26, the final number, right? A lot of people self-sabotage their own relationships, right? Because they see 1 or 2 things about you that they may not like. They may not necessarily be red flags, and instead of working on the relationship and making it even stronger, they'd rather sever ties. What idiots. So those are 26 things that I've learned in 26 years. Now let me remind you, it is not my birthday today. My birthday was
in November.
I've been wanting to film this video since last month, but I was struggling to come up with 26 things. So I've read them for you now. I hope you enjoy. If you disagree, you're allowed to, that's fine. If you'd like to tell me why, feel free. If you want to hide and you want to just watch the video and not comment, like everybody else, that's cool as well. If you want to like, that's lovely. Want to dislike, cool, that's it, be a hater. I mean, you know, either way, I'm doing something right. You know, if I've got haters, I'm doing something right, so that's cool. Either way, you know, you hate me, I'll be in your nightmares. You love me, I'll be in your dreams. I'll be on your mind either way. Thank you for watching. Make sure you go follow me on TikTok, at JasmineMorris191. All my links will be in my link tree, which you can find in the description down below. Thank you for watching. If you're still watching up until this point, well done. You do not have the attention span of a goldfish. I haven't done videos for a while. Wow. Love, peace, and guess what? A kiss.